the first to know. Nsem-Pii TV.
Over the weekends, na yetimi the yura Kesel ato Forson etimi ekoko pie mu ewo court ni nyina ambulance bi anenka akwa ade abrega na entimi ama medu Ghana etimi eboka 2.7 million euros me no kasa de na that time na Kesel ato Forson deputy finance minister na yura Tekper and the main minister no na Tekper etimi ebepie mu ewo court ema yetimi etoto na no na se o follow court proceedings a yetimi edebrel ewo Nsem-Pii na ubehu se Tekper etimi editum se that deal no abon etimi ekosign no that letter of credit no ade se ono na etimi ema atofo se kwan de etumi nyina ehye ne nsem se onsign na osign wie no na ohun se mfomso etimi abem mfomso abey na etimi ebe mu a ebetimi de yura Tekper na se Kesel ato Forson etimi akwakopie mu ewo afiase yenko na yenko tie emfiri Paul Adom okere ho.
Kesel ato Forson, the honorable minority leader, and others have complicity with the ambulance purchase and some LCs, and fundamentally charging them for causing financial loss to the state and other offenses, I guess. So the public interest level is the ambulances. The ambulances were talked about for many, many years, a long time. Eventually, they were delivered, but the public interest is cemented by the fact that this is a transaction over ambulances that were to be distributed to Ghanaian public and now has been distributed to each constituency. We are mindful of the fact that the trial is still proceeding, and therefore we are unable to make comments that are prejudicial to the outcome of the trial, that are prejudicial to the decisions that the judge may make. We are not lawyers in the matter, and therefore we are not advocating for any position as we do so now. What we're going to do is to share with viewers exactly as has happened in the court, without any commentary about it, without any connotation, and without suggesting any inclinations. We will not take text messages and public comments on this segment of the program as a result of the fact that the matter is still before the High Court judge. So we respect that. We respect the institutions of state. But we don't want lawyers to come after the matter and come and tell us things that are untrue. And so we are going to share with the general public from now on everything that has been happening in the court, for the general public to look at it and make your decision in your head as we all wait for the ultimate decision of the trial judge. With that, welcome aboard. Okay, so cross-examination of Honorable Tekper by Honorable Godfred Yeboah Dame. This is how it starts. It's a bit long, so maybe I'll take a break and we take water at some point and we come back. But let's deal with it. All right. How are you? He says. Tekper says, I'm doing well. Godfred Dame says, you were responsible. You were responsible for many authorizations of payment out of the consolidated fund? It's a question. The Honorable Tekper answers the question. Is that not where I should be going? Okay, he continues by saying, such approvals for withdrawals from the consolidated funds must be evidenced by some records. This is the Attorney General asking him that you are responsible for approvals. Such approvals must have record. The Honorable Tekper says, all payments out of the consolidated funds must come with some form of verification and validation from the source, so to that extent, yes, he's answering the question, yes, that these things come with approval. Then Godfred Dame says, your approval, the approval you give for withdrawal to be made from the consolidated fund is backed by record because it is public funds. Is that not correct? Honorable Tekper says, yes, it is correct. It is a statutory provision that all payments must be backed by records. Attorney General says, I am talking about your approval. It must be backed by record. The Honorable Tekper said, yes, it must be backed by record. Okay. Now, let me give you a bit of a background, viewers. Just a bit of a background. So the background is that Mr. Kesel ato Forson, who is on trial, the minority leader, has suggested to the court that he received authorization from Honorable Tekper, his boss at the time, the minister responsible for finance. This is what he has told the court, that he received approval, some form of approval, or some form of authorization from his boss. So his boss is come to the court as a witness for Ato Forson. He's a defense witness. He's not a witness for the prosecution. He's a witness for the defense. So he has come to court to say to the court that, yes, I did an authorization for case Ato Forson. And naturally, as the court rules work, the Attorney General who is prosecuting will have the opportunity to cross-examine the Honorable Tekper, to ask him questions about what Honorable Tekper has already said. So this conversation is about the Honorable Tekper telling the court that I gave authorization to case Ato Forson, and the Attorney General is cross-examining him to come to the conclusion and find some solution and understand something. But ultimately, the court will make the decision. So the Attorney General is trying to urge on the court that he did not give approval. The Honorable Tekper says, I gave approval. The court will make their decision. So this is the questions and answers that I'm sharing with you now. Okay. He says, I am talking about your approval. It must be backed by record. Tekper says, yes, it must be backed by record. Next page. He says, you did not exhibit any record showing the approval you have made before this court, which is to say the approval for the purchase of the ambulance. Then Dr. Basit Bamba comes in. So when you see Dr. Bamba here, it's an objection he raised on that day. He comes in and says, my lady, we object to this question on the grounds that the witness did not use the word approval. Then the judge, that's why we write by court. The judge says, the objection is overruled. Okay, let's move on. Godfredame continues. He says, you did not exhibit any record showing the approval you have made before this court. Honorable Tekper says, the records before the court shows clearly that the attachments to the payments came from the Ministry of Health to the Bank of Ghana, BOG. Godfredame said, you were invited to Iyoko, which investigated this matter in 2018. Is that not correct? Honorable Tekper said, yes, I was. Godfredame continues and says, you were questioned by Iyoko on all you knew on the transaction. Is that not correct? Honorable Tekper said, yes, I was. Then Godfredame continues, you did not indicate to Iyoko that you gave approval for the payment in question. Did you? Tekper says, I stated clearly in that statement that I had left office and I could not make any statement out of memory. So I asked them to bring me documents from the Ministry of Finance to refresh my memory, but I was not invited again. Godfredame says, I am talking about questions by Iyoko. You did not indicate to Iyoko that you gave approval for the payment in question. Okay? The Tekper says, I could not have because, as I stated, I had left office and therefore could not rely on my memory to make statements which was of legal consequence. Godfredame says, following the questioning by Iyoko, they gave you a statement form to take home to write about all you knew about the matter. Tekper says, that is correct, but that does not change the position because I do not keep official documents at home, and especially since I had left office. Godfredame says, in your statement, which is Exhibit 5, for Honorable Ato Forson, you did not mention anything about authorization for the payment in question. Tekper says, I did not because I did not have the information. Tekper said, I did not because I did not have the information. Attorney General says, at the time you were questioned by Iyoko and at the time you gave your statement to Iyoko, you had left office only 1 year. Is that not correct? The Tekper said, it could be 1 year, but after receiving the volume of documents which I had to peruse, I feel justified that I did not proceed to give a longer statement from my memory. Godfredame comes back. By 2018, when you were writing this statement to Iyoko, the matters were fresher in your mind than in 2023, as you appear before this court. Is that not correct? The Honorable Tekper says, the issues that were fresh in my mind were what I put in my statement. Godfredame says, since 2018, which document had you seen that shows the payment made by Honorable Ato Forson? Then the finance minister comes back and says, may I emphasize that I did not authorize payment. I authorized the establishment of an LC. The distinction is very important. Payment, as I stated earlier, is the responsibility of the sector minister. It is for this reason that the public financial management assigns responsibility to specific spending officers. Godfrey Dame comes back. The ambulances in question were paid for through the establishment of letters of credit, the LC as they call it. Is that not so? He's asking the Honorable Tekper. Honorable Tekper said, yes, they are. Godfrey Dame says, have you seen any document since 2018 by which you authorize the establishment of the letters of credit in question? Then the Honorable Finance Minister says, I have already stated before the court that I have seen the document by which I requested the establishment of the LC. Godfrey Dame says, take a look at the exhibit file and show the court the exhibit you are talking about. Exhibit just means a document, viewers. Exhibit just means a document. So when you hear exhibit, it's a document. It's not, let's not get confused about that. Exhibit is a document, but it's not a plain sheet like this. There are stuff written on it. Okay, let's move on. Take a look at the exhibit file and show the court the exhibit you are talking about. Said Tekper, the documents that support every action that we took were the opinion of the Attorney General cautioning us against financial loss to the state, a letter to the Ministry of Finance with the very attachment of the very caution that was sent to the Minister of Health, and the third and last one is the opinion of the Legal Division of the Ministry of Finance, which is based on my referral for a second opinion after the Attorney General's advice. Okay. Take a look at Exhibit 7 for Honorable Ato Forson, was dated 9th May 2014, where in Exhibit 7, 7A, and Exhibit 8, do they show approval by you for the establishment of the LC in question? Let me take this question again. Godfrey Dame is asking, take a look at Exhibit 7, that's a document, for Honorable Ato Forson. It was dated 9th May 2014. Where in Exhibit 7, that document, 7A, another document, and Exhibit 8, a third document, do they show approval by you for the establishment of the LC in question? Sir Tekper says, this is where the third document I referred to becomes important because I conveyed a meeting. Exhibit 7 is merely forwarding the document the AG himself had forwarded to me. And Exhibit 8 follows my referral of the documents from the AG to the Legal and Debt Management Division of the Ministry because we were then under an IMF program and it was important that I satisfy myself that we do not exceed the debt limit. So Exhibit 8 is the outcome of that referral that I made, reiterating the number of documents the Legal Division, the Debt Management Division, and other divisions of the ministry researched in coming to their conclusion. It came up with two major recommendations, and according to the witness is reading now, viewers. That's why I write witness reads. Is reading now. From this point on, we had a meeting, and it came up with a decision. The meeting was between myself, the Honorable Ato Forson, the Chief Director of the Ministry of Finance, and the three heads of department. That is the legal, the debt management, because I wanted to be convinced that my technical officers will agree with the decision. Okay. Godfrey Dame continues. Neither your name nor signature is in any of these exhibits. That is Exhibit 7, 7A, and 8. The minister says, I did not have my signature, but it was addressed to me. Dame said, you did not minute or issue any instructions on any of these exhibits. That's a 7, that's exhibits is document, viewers. So document 7, 7A, and 8, the Attorney General is asking or suggesting that the Honorable Minister did not issue any instruction on any of these. The Tekper comes in. The various minutes in particular, Exhibit 7, are very This is the Honorable Tekper talking. These are records before the court. I requested for the Ministry of Finance version of this document, but I did not receive it. But in the absence of my minute, it is clear from the stamp that it was received by my office before it went out to the other offices. Okay. The Attorney General comes back. Please look at Document-Ato for Honorable Ato Forson, which you have indicated lists some documents that the legal department relied on in preparing this memo. And I will refer you to paragraph 9 of the memo. Tell the court which documents came from you that the legal department relied on. Okay, let's move on. The Honorable Sir Tekper says, letter dated 9th May 2014 from the Ministry of Justice to the Minister for Finance. Then Attorney General comes in. I am talking about letters that you authored and not letters that were received by your office. Because, okay, let's move on. Sir Tekper says, these letters are internal documents. So the document that would have come from my office are the Attorney General's office. The documents cite the two critical documents that came from my office, and I did not have to send them based on procedure with another letter from the legal department. It's a bit long, but let's try. Then Godfrey Dami comes back. For purposes of clarity, there is no document here that you prepared which the legal department relied on in preparing Exhibit 8 for Honorable Ato Forson. Is that not correct? The Honorable Minister says, in all probability, there would be because some of the documents that were cited were from the period that I was Deputy Minister. For example, there is one here dated 2011. Then the Attorney General comes back. Are you the one who prepared the legal opinion? Are you the one who prepared the legal opinion you just cited? Then he says, I did not prepare it. The Attorney General says, please point out from this list of documents relied on by the legal department which letter you personally prepared or authored. Then the Honorable Minister says, I cannot. But it is important to note that at the time these documents were prepared for my office, there was no reason for me to have written a letter or to have authorized for a letter to be written. Attorney General says, I'm suggesting to you that your claim that there is a record for the approval you allege that you gave for the establishment of the letters of credit is false. And that is false. And that is why there is no record you can point to. Let me read that again. Attorney General says that, I'm suggesting to you, the Honorable Minister, that your claim that there is record for the approval you allege that you gave for the establishment of the letters of credit is false. And that is why there is no record you can point to. Then Dr. Bamba, who is lawyer for Sir Tekper, comes in and says, my lady, I have an objection on the grounds that the accused did not say that there were records on approval. Then the court speaks. The court says, the question is fair and the witness is capable of answering it. The objection is overruled. So, Godfrey Dami comes back. I am suggesting to you that your claim that there is record for the approval you allege that you gave for the establishment